What's going on, everybody? Johnny TCG back with another video. I am so excited to bring you some more Boa Hancock gameplay. She has quickly become one of my favorite leaders in the game, and I think that you'll find this gameplay pretty interesting. I definitely think she shakes up the meta a little bit. She's really good in the OP07 Bonnie, starter deck 13 Luffy, and I think she's just a generically good leader. This list is not too spicy. It is pretty standard compared to a lot of the other Boa lists. The only thing that you might consider spice would be the 9-cost Dracula Mihawk, which I definitely agree that there aren't a lot of 7 costs in the meta right now that are a perfect target for this. But sometimes I feel like when I'm at 9 Dawn, it really just hits the spot. So 2 is not a big commitment. I find room for it in this deck. And then the other spicy tech is the 3000 Worlds. I know we have Red Rock and we have Gravity Blade Raging Tiger, but I do think there is room in this deck for 3000 Worlds. For at least one. You don't need to play 2, but I think that 3000 Worlds can really come in handy sometimes, especially late game when you are pushing and maybe they've got 1 blocker out, 0 life, or 1 blocker and 1 life. The 3000 Worlds can really come in clutch. Before we get into the gameplay, I do want to announce a giveaway for this custom One Piece Color Walk Dawn. It's holographic. I'm throwing up a video of it on the screen right now. All you have to do to win this is leave a like and a comment. If this video gets 30 likes in the first 24 hours, I will send this to one US-based commenter for absolutely free. These aren't professionally made. This is still a hobby of mine and I'm trying to get better at it. So the production quality isn't 100% yet. But if you just want a fun little custom done, all you gotta do is like and comment. I do not own the artwork. It is from the One Piece Color Walk series. That's enough yapping. Let's get into the gameplay. First up today, we got a game against Jewelry Bonnie from OP07. I decided to keep my first hand. I don't have any turn 1 or turn 2 plays yet, but I do like the Jinbei, I do like the 9-cost Mihawk, and I do absolutely like that 10-cost Kaido. That will certainly be able to get rid of the OP01 Eustace Captain Kidd they inevitably play. For my turn 2 play, I'm just going to give a couple down to my leader and swing at their Jewelry Bonnie Searcher. They give it to me, of course. They're going to swing 5 with leader. I'm going to 2k out of it because I can bring that law back this turn with Jinbei and Gecko. I decide to do 5 at lead with my leader and they take. Then I'm going to do a Sengoku search and I'm actually going to take the 6-cost Boa Hancock. That card is absolutely busted. I'm going to go Jinbei and a Gecko Moria from starter deck 2 to bring back that 2k counter law. And then I'm going to pass. Already, I've got a pretty big board so far. I'm going to be able to get multiple swings on their leader despite their great leader effect. They're going to play down the Basil Hawkins. This card is going to be annoying to get around. I need to see a Gravity Blade Raging Tiger or a Gum Gum Red Rock. I'm going to start my turn off by playing the Boa, freezing the Basil Hawkins, and then bottom decking the Sengoku, letting me draw a card. I misplayed here. Let's get an F in the chat. Why would I swing 6 first just for them to block it? I should have swung 5s first, and if they decide to block one of those, so be it. I didn't invest any Dawn. Now they're going to go Rouge on their turn. That card is going to be huge for them, and then they're just going to go 9 with leader into Jinbei. RIP Jinbei. They've got a wall of 3 blockers, which is not ideal. I'm at 9 Dawn, so I will go with the Dracula Mihawk. I would prefer to get rid of that Hawkins, but with Hawkins' ability, I would not be able to. They would just rest my Mihawk. So I have to go with the Rouge, not the end of the world. Still a pretty good card to get rid of. And I'm just going to keep swinging, and they're already down to 1 life. They're going to start the turn by going 5 into my leader. I could counter this. I don't feel pressured right now at all. I'm expecting maybe a Doflamingo, which is why I didn't swing. Part of the reason I didn't swing with my leader. I also didn't swing because they still have the Basil Hawkins. They're going to go with the Eustace Captain Kidd, play out the Rosinante, and now they've really got a wall set up. They probably think they're in a great position, but I'm perfectly fine with the situation they've created. I can 10 drop Kaido, one of the most underrated cards in this deck, I'd say, just because in this matchup, being able to send the Kid and Rosinante back to hand and then draw a card is amazing. I'm going to swing 5 with I'm going to swing 9 with Mihawk first. Sometimes it's easy to forget about Bonnie's ability and you will get caught slipping, so you got to be on top of that. I swing 9, they give me the hit, which is surprising, and I'm just going to pass here. I could swing with the Gecko and my leader, and they would only be able to free block one of those, but they could have a Don Quixote Doflamingo 10 drop to rest my characters. It just wasn't worth it in my eyes. I do get the Gum Gum Red Rock off the trigger, and in hindsight, I think I should have used this on the Bartolomeo, but the thing is, I might want to use that for Don Quixote Doflamingo. I have a couple different options here. I think I should have played 10 drop Kaido and just did the same thing I did last turn, where I bounced back the Rosinante and Bartolomeo. Instead, I Red Rock the Eustace Captain Kidd, which in hindsight, I don't agree with. I think it's a fine play, but I don't think it was the best play I could have done. I should have saved that. I don't know why I didn't consider just doing the 10 drop Kaido again. But I do it. It is not a big deal. I'm still in a very comfortable position. I'm going to go 9 with my leader. They're going to block with Basil Hawkins and then counter out of it. And then I am just going to end my turn. If I swung with the Boa Hancock, they would have just been able to block with the Rosinante, and then if they hit me with the 10 cost Doflamingo, I would have been in a not great position. And since I wasted that Red Rock, I wouldn't have any immediate answers to it. They're going to go 7 into lead. I'll take that. And now I've got some decisions to make. Because they played Bonnie, my 10 cost Kaido is not going to be able to swing this turn. So I need to decide how I would like to play this. I can go 10 cost Kaido. I can go Gravity Blade Raging Tiger. I decide to go 10 cost Kaido and send back the Rosinante and the Bonnie. And then I'm going to swing 9 with Dracula Mihawk, and they've got the counter for it. Then I'm going to go 5, see if maybe they free block. They do. And then I can just swing 5 with Gecko. I swing it into Bonnie, but I do think that maybe I should have swung that into life just to get a counter out of hand. This late into the game, where their Don is going to be so precious, I don't know if they would have wanted to use it on Jewelry Bonnie search. They're going to play out the 5 cost Jewelry Bonnie again to freeze my 1 10 cost Kaido, then play out the Rosinante, and now go 7 into lead. I can counter this. I think this game is pretty much over. I'm going to Gravity Blade Raging Tiger the Bonnie and the Rosinante. Obviously, Basil Hawkins and Rosinante probably would have been better options, but by the time I swung with all my characters, the blockers would have been gone. So I do think that getting rid of the Rosinante and the Bonnie immediately were the right play. And then I just go to town with my swings. This game felt really easy. Bonnie just does not have a great matchup into Boa, especially when we see all of our pieces. They're able to get out of these crazy swings. They had so many cards in hand. They hit the chat with an LOL. I hit them with an LOL back. They had so many cards, a ton of 2Ks. Unfortunately for them, this game is basically over. They swing big and they're just gonna pass and concede. GG's. Next up, we got a game against Doflamingo. This is one of the more popular decks in OP07 because it got a lot of new support. Seeing it a lot on the sim nowadays. I'm going first again, and I don't have any good turn 1 or turn 2 plays, so I'm just going to swing big at their life. I imagine they'll probably take this. Struggling with my mouse a little bit. Like, comment, and subscribe so that I can get this YouTube money and buy a new mouse, because it is rough out here. 5 done. I'm going to go with a 6K leader swing and then play out Jinbei into Gecko Moria. Bring back the 2K Croc, which will be absolutely splendid. And I'm going to pass. They've got 6 done to work with, and they're going to start out with a 7K swing from Edward Weevil. I debate countering out of this at first, but then I decide not to. I counter out of the leader swing, and then they play another 4-drop Edward Weevil. I'll start my turn out by just swinging 5 with Gecko. I will be at 7 Dawn, so I will likely just go 6 with leader, and then hit them with the 6-drop Gecko, 6-drop Boa Hancock. And now another swing into leader. They've got so many counters for me. So I'm just kind of slowly draining them from their hand. 7K and a Jinbei. I could save it, but I gotta let it go. 7K with leader ability into my Gecko. I will let this go reluctantly. I don't have a ton of counter, but I really don't want to. Maybe I shouldn't. I don't know. I let it go. I shouldn't go down to 0 counter. Let me know in the comments if you agree. And then they're going to Jinbei into Edward Weevil again. They've got 3 of them so far this game. No wonder they have so many cards to counter with. Let me know in the chat if you think I'm going to lose this, because it's not looking amazing right now. They've got a full board. Luckily, we get the Edward Weevil with a Boa Hancock 8K swing. I'm looking at my trash if I should maybe play out Gecko, bring back Jinbei. What kind of shenanigans should I get into? I would like to get this Law off the board before it causes me just any annoying pokes. So I go 5 at it with lead. They give it to me. Now with 9 done, I can Boa Hancock and freeze something, but then I won't be able to play anything with 3 done. I decide to go with 9-cost Dracula Mihawk, and I get to use leader ability to draw a card. They're going to swing 5 at me with Jinbei, I'll 2K out of that. 6K at me with Edward Weevil, and I'll 2K out of that. 6K at me with their leader, I can't get out of that. And then they're going to hit me with the 9-cost Sanji, which I don't think I've seen a lot in blue Dofi decks, so that's really interesting. And they get the 3-cost blocker Dofi off of that. So, not the biggest value, but kind of decent nonetheless. It's body I have to worry about. I'm going to try to get this Jinbei off the board, and then hopefully get this Edward Weevil too. I play out the 10-cost Kaido to pop the Doflamingo and the Weevil back to hand. Use leader ability to draw 1, and then swing a successful 9K at their leader. They're going to go 5 at me with their leader, then 9 at me with Sanji, and then play the Weevil and Boa Hancock, freezing my 10-cost Kaido. I do have a lot of removal at my disposal with a Red Rock and a 3000 Worlds. I'm going to start out my turn by going 8000 into their leader, and they counter out of that. 2 2Ks, happy to get them out of hand. Now I'm going to go 9 with Dracula Mihawk, and they'll take that. I'm not 100% sure what I should do yet, really. Let me know what you think I should do. I really want to get at least one body off the board. And so I could do 3,000 Worlds, then maybe get Weevil off the board, and then maybe play down the Boa Hancock to develop another body. I think that's what I might do, because instead of popping the Sanji, I can just freeze it, and then pop the Weevil, and then use leader ability to draw a card. I get a 1k counter. Not bad. They're going to go 5,000 at me. I should counter out of this. And then 8,000 at me. I've got to take this. I get the 2k Law. Then they're going to Gravity Blade Raging Tiger. Not ideal. And then just play out the 3-drop blocker Don Quixote Doflamingo. With 10 down, I could go a couple different routes. I could go Jinbei and Boa, Jinbei and Red Rock. I could not Jinbei at all, and maybe just go Weevil to keep the counter in my hand. I'm going to start with 9k into lead with Mihawk. They're going to block with the Doflamingo. Then I'm going to swing 12 at the Boa Hancock. They gave that to me. I'm going to swing 5 with my leader, and they take that as well. I go Boa to freeze the Sanji, and then I Jinbei and a Gecko. They don't really have many options left. They play out the Sanji and concede because the writing was on the wall. GG's though. Next game up we have against Red Ace from OP03. I'm going first again. What's up with going first in all these games? And I've got no turn 1 play. They're going to play the Masked Deuce and actually whiff, which is really surprising. I'll start my turn by going 5,000 at lead, and they take the hit, and then I play the 3-drop Dofi blocker, and this isn't great what I see, but at least I can get the 3,000 Worlds next turn, which I think is a really important card in this deck. So I do have another 3-drop blocker if I want to play it. I also will get a Sengoku the turn after if I want that. They're going to go 5,000 at me, and I should block out of this. It feels bad giving a 2k on a 5k attack, but I want to be able to bring that back later and then also get the most out of my leader's ability, so I need to keep my hand size low. 5 Dawn at my disposal. I'm going to go 6 with leader into their leader. That Brook could be an issue, or at least an annoyance. And now I'm going to go Jinbei into another Doflamingo blocker, and I'm just going to put these cards at the bottom. I don't really think most of these cards are really going to do me much, so I'd rather just shuffle up the deck a little bit and skip those cards. They're going to play another Masked Deuce, and this time get the OP03 Flame Emperor. And now they're going to swing 7 into lead, giving minus 2,000 from Jinbei and one of my Dofi blockers. I debate taking this, and I just decide to block with one of my Dofi blockers. Now they're going to swing 7 into lead. I'll take this, get another card in hand. And then they're going to use Seaquake to KO that Jinbei, RIP. 7 down to work with. This is the perfect time to use 6-cost Boa Hancock. I'll be able to freeze the Brook, bottom deck the Masked Deuce, and then draw a card, which is a 2k, which will make all the difference in the world. Now I've got a 6k swing. I consider going to Brook for a moment, just to get it off board, but I should apply pressure to life. Brook will be frozen this next turn, so there's no point in kind of wasting my swing on it right now. They're going to use Flame Emperor, KO the Boa Hancock, swing 8 double 8,000 double attack at my lead. I will block that with the Doflamingo. I do not want to give up a double attack right now. It wouldn't have been the end of the world, but not ideal. Now for 9 Dawn, I could Gravity Blade Raging Tiger. I will likely just play another Boa Hancock, freeze the Brook again. I know they're frustrated, and then bottom deck the Izo. Now I'm going to play the Sengoku, looking for a 7 Warlords of the Sea. I'll take the Mihawk just for it's a 2k. And I'll use my remaining Dawn to swing 7,000 at their leader. They take it, and do they get a trigger? They do. They get the Flame Emperor trigger. Not the worst thing in the world, as it just got rid of my Sengoku, so I am not too upset. They're going to go Edward Newgate for 9 Dawn, and then swing into me for 7,000. I decide to take this. First, I'm going to 3,000 Worlds the Brook. Get that out of the way. I can swing 8,000 with my 6-cost Boa Hancock. They are going to be able to counter out of it. And then I'm going to use Gum Gum Red Rock to get rid of that Edward Newgate See a Whitebeard. Not today. 7,000 with Rush Ace into my Boa Hancock. That is not ideal. I do not want to let it die because it's my only major threat on the board right now, and I've got plenty of counter in hand, so I'm going to do my best to keep it alive. They're going to swing another 7 into it with Leader, and I am going to counter out of this one as well. Going down to so little cards in hand is not ideal, but we are keeping this Boa alive. I'm going to use the 3,000 Worlds just to get Leader effect off and draw another card. I get the 2k counter Crocodile. Not ideal, but at least it's a 2k. I'll use the remainder of my Dawn swinging at the Ace. So first I'll do a 7k swing with my Leader. And they'll give me 1k counter. And now I'm going to swing big with Boa Hancock character. 12,000. Do they have the counter for it? They give me the Radical Beam and the 2k Makino, so it stays alive. I don't know if I'll be able to keep the Boa Hancock alive again this turn. They're going to go 10k at it. I could save it, but I decide not to. I should keep some counter in hand. Now they're going to go 6 at life. And I'm going to give them the 2k Croc just because I know that they're going to swing again, and I'll take this one. And I get the Edward Weevil. I'm going to Jinbei into Edward Weevil, drawing myself another card, seeing what my options are. I'll swing 5 with Leader into their Leader. And they counter out of this. And then I'm going to play the Boa Hancock, freezing their Monkey D. Dragon and passing. I don't think they should have countered that hit. Because now they've got nothing to do. I thought they probably would have a rusher, and if they did, they would have been able to win that game between the Rush, their leader, and the Ace character. But all they could have done was removed one of my characters, and with only one card in hand, and 3 swings, 2 life, that was game. So they just abandoned ship a little early. It is what it is. Next up, we got a game against another blue Doflamingo. They're going to start out with a Perona to stack their deck. We hate when we see it say they're placing the cards on the top of their deck. We're going to go with the Sengoku Search for our turn 1 play. And I have a couple good choices, but I decided to go with the Dracula Mihawk just to get some counter. I don't really have any counter in my hand right now. I would like a target for the Gecko Moria I might play next turn. 7k with their leader into me, using leader effect to play out the 4-cost Gecko Moria from the top of their deck. And I am going to Gum Gum Rain, discarding Dracula Mihawk 4-drop, and survive that attack. Now I'll be able to first swing into lead with my leader. They may or may not take this. They give me the 1k Perona. But now I can do Jinbei into Gecko and then bring that 2k back, which is absolutely awesome. You guys know that is one of my favorite combos. That is probably one of the favorite combos of anyone who plays Boa Hancock. Looks like they're going to do leader ability again, this time playing Crocodile off the top of their deck, and using his ability they will send Perona back to their hand. I get very lucky with the Gravity Blade Raging Tiger trigger and get to bottom deck their 4-cost Gecko. It's triggers like that that really can change the course of a game, and it's so unfortunate when you're on the receiving end of that, getting punished for just swinging into life. I'll go 5 with Gecko into their Croc. They take it. Now I'm going to go 6 with my Jinbei into their Croc. They counter out of that one as well. Now I'm going to go another 6 into it. They finally give it to me, which is great. And then I just play the 4-cost Edward Weevil from EB01. That lets me draw a card. I've got 2 10-cost Kaidos and a 9-cost Mihawk in my hand, so this late game should be interesting. They're going to leader ability into Jinbei, and then Jinbei into Gecko Moria, which draws them back the starter deck Dracula Mihawk from their trash. I'll give them the Jinbei. I don't want to use all my counter defending it. And they've got 4 Dawn left. They're just going to throw it all on Perona and swing into probably my Gecko. They do, and I will give the 2k this time to protect it. 8 down to work with. I am going to play out the Boa Hancock. I'm not going to play it out yet. I'll start swinging first. First, I'll swing 5,000 with my Gecko into their Jinbei. They give it to me, which is absolutely awesome. Now I'm going to go 6,000 into their leader. They might not have any counters, so they may give this to me as well. They do have the 2k. Now I'm going to go 7 into leader with my leader, which they'll take. And now I'm going to play down 6-drop Boa, prevent the Gecko from attacking and bottom decking their Perona. Using leader ability, I get to draw, and I get the 3-drop Dofi blocker. They're going to use a Gum Gum Red Rock to get rid of that Boa Hancock. Very unfortunate. And now they're just going to spend the rest of their open Dawn swinging at the Weevil. I could protect this if I wanted to, but I don't want to get rid of all my counter. So I let it go. Let me know what you would have done in the comments below. Now I have another decision to make. I'm going to start this turn by swinging at lead with Gecko. But I also have to decide if I want to play the 9-cost Mihawk or the 10-drop Kaido. I think I'm going to go with the 9-cost Mihawk just because I get to bottom deck that Gecko, meaning they're not going to play it again next turn, possibly bringing back other Warlords, which they could use to kind of swamp the field. And they're going to go 5,000 at me. I've got the counter for this. There's no use of a pudding anymore. They're not going to probably have a big hand size too much later in this game. Now that I've kept the Kaidos in hand, I'll be able to get more value out of them potentially. They just play 2 Edward Weevils this turn and pass. I'll be able to get rid of one, but not both. I'll start my turn with 5,000 from Gecko. Now I'll do 5,000 from Boa. And then I'll do 9,000 with Dracula Mihawk. They're going to take that one too. Are they going to get a trigger? They get the Red Rock trigger and get to bottom deck the 4-cost Gecko. Not the end of the world. Not ideal. I play the 10-drop Kaido, bouncing back one of their Weevils to hand, and then I also bounce back my own Sengoku. I did this just for the sake of counter. But in hindsight, maybe I should have left it on the field as just another body to swing with, potentially. Let me know what you think of that play. They'll start their turn by swinging 5 at me, and I just give them the 1k Sengoku. So it did get used to after all. They're going to swing 6 at me with their Edward Weevil. I am going to give them a 2k. We have not taken much life this game. That Gravity Blade Raging Tiger really threw them off. Very unfortunate for them. They're going to play the 6-drop Boa Hancock to freeze my 10-drop Kaido, and then also an Edward Weevil 4-drop to draw another card. Here I'm deciding how I want to go about this. I am going to swing 9 just to get rid of that Weevil. Want to clear their board as much as possible. I am going to decide between the red rocking the Boa or doing the 10-drop Kaido. I'll swing 5 into their leader and they 1k counter out of it. And I could do Trafalgar Law. Scratch that. I end up going with the 10 cost Kaido, bouncing back the Boa, and then drawing a card. I get another Gum Gum Red Rock. They don't have many options here. They're going to swing 5 at me. I've got plenty of counter in my hand. And I'll just give them the 2k. Even though it's over countering, I might want the Dofi blocker. 6k with Edward Weevil. I can counter out of this as well. Give them the 2k Crocodile. And then they just concede. The writing was on the wall. GG's. Those are all the games I got today, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you thought of those games in the comments below. I always am appreciative of any constructive criticism and feedback. Let me know what other leaders you want to see me play. See if I can cook with any off-meta leaders, maybe. If you want to win the custom holographic Color Walk Dawn, all you have to do is leave a like and a comment. And if this video gets 30 likes in the first 24 hours, I will choose one random commenter. That's all I got for you today. Peace.